Today marks the commencement of the highly anticipated National Conference on Transition, as mandated by Article 2 of the Constitutional Charter, which brings the transition period to an end on June 30th, 2024. This pivotal gathering, scheduled for May 25th and 26th, 2024, is convened to consolidate the achievements of the transitional period, strengthen the social pact, and chart the course for Burkina Faso's sovereignty. On April 26, 2024, the Transitional Legislative Assembly passed a crucial law authorizing the convening of this national meeting. The government, in compliance with this legislative directive, established an organizing committee chaired by an appointed official. The committee's primary mission has been to prepare and implement all activities necessary for the successful execution of the conference. Let's pay attention to statements at the conference and share your thoughts if the Ibrahim Traore transition tenure should be renewed or not. The transition, in accordance with Article 2 of the Constitutional Charter, comes to an end on June 30th, 2024. In order to consolidate the achievements, strengthen the social pact and the patriotic momentum, and consider the prospects of sovereignty, the Transitional Legislative Assembly adopted on April 26, 2024 the law authorizing the convening of a national meeting to decide on the continuation of the transition. The government, in fulfilling this legislative obligation, set up the organizing committee for the meeting which I have the honor to chair. The committee, whose mission was the preparation and implementation of all activities of the National Conference, worked in particular on the development of the terms of reference for the conference, the invitation of participants, the management of logistics, and the carrying out of the various activities relating to the organization of the conference. Your participation in this meeting demonstrates your commitment to the national cause and, therefore, the fight for Burkina Faso of peace, solidarity, social cohesion, and prosperity. To this end, allow me to recall that in this same room, the active forces of our country adopted on October 14, 2022 the Transition Charter for a period of 21 months starting from October 12, 2022. Thus, in accordance with the Article 2 of this charter, the transition's mission was to restore and strengthen security throughout the national territory, to provide an urgent, effective and efficient response to the humanitarian crisis, to promote good governance and the fight against corruption, to initiate political, administrative and institutional reforms with a view to strengthening democratic culture and consolidating the rule of law, to work for national reconciliation and social cohesion, and to ensure the organization of free, transparent, fair, and inclusive elections. To do this, the government and the Transitional Legislative Assembly set about the task from their respective constitutions. To date, significant actions can be seen both in the theater of operations and in terms of political and institutional reforms. You will have the opportunity during this meeting to take an exhaustive look at the achievements made. Ladies and gentlemen participants, distinguished guests, I can already assure you that the efforts undertaken to equip and consequently strengthen our army have produced very convincing effects which make the complete reconquest of our territory irreversible. Nevertheless, the continuation of operations must be carried out within a consensual and legal framework, hence the holding of this meeting, which must make it possible to present the results of the transition, to deliberate on the consequences of the transition, and to collect all proposals useful for the smooth running of our country. I am aware that this large gathering may contain inadequacies that could negatively impact certain aspects of the organization, but I am counting on your high sense to point them out to us if necessary so that we can correct them together. The success of such a meeting is based on discipline, moderation, courtesy, and above all strict respect for the rules established by each of the participants. To conclude, I hope that these meetings will be a moment of perfect communion between the daughters and sons of our country and that, together, in union and solidarity, we meet the challenge of asserting our national sovereignty. May this moment of reflection allow us to be productive, and may our collective efforts help shape a better future for our country. Significant strides have been made in Burkina Faso in various areas, including security and political reforms. The chairperson assured attendees that efforts to equip and strengthen the military have yielded convincing results, making the complete reconquest of national territory an attainable goal. However, continued operations require a consensual and legal framework, which the conference aims to establish by presenting the transition's outcomes, deliberating on its consequences, and gathering proposals for the country's future. Participants are encouraged to contribute meaningfully, keeping the nation's best interests and the legitimate aspirations of the Burkinabe people at the forefront. Whether through new policies, legislative revisions, or innovative initiatives, each proposal has the potential to significantly impact society.
Et qu'ensemble, dans l'union et la solidarité, nous relevons le défi de l'affirmation de notre souveraineté nationale.
Ladies and gentlemen participants, distinguished guests, through this meeting, we have an appointment with history. This is why we must silence our quarrels to pool the richness of our diversity in order to preserve the essential and write a new page in our history, that of a people who ensure their destiny and give themselves clear directions for the construction of a strong and resilient nation, a nation capable of itself restoring peace and security with a view to initiating real sustainable development. Also, I would like to salute all the participants who spared no effort to respond to these meetings. To this end, I invite you to make enriching contributions by always putting at the center the best interests of the nation as well as the deep and legitimate aspirations of the Burkinabe people.
La richesse de notre diversité afin de préserver l'essentiel et écrire une nouvelle page de notre histoire.
Whether by identifying new policies, proposing the adoption of new texts or the revision of existing texts, or even by recommending new initiatives, each participant, through their proposals, has the potential to have a significant impact on our society.
De restaurer la paix et la sécurité en vue d'amorcer un réel développement.
Ladies and gentlemen participants, distinguished guests, while wishing you every success in your work, I declare, in the name of the President of the Transition, Head of State, open the National Conference on the Transition of May 25th and 26th, 2024. God bless Burkina Faso. Homeland or death, we will win.
Ainsi que les aspirations profondes et légitimes du peuple burkinabé. Que ce soit en identifiant de nouvelles politiques, en proposant l'adoption de nouveaux textes ou la révision de textes existants.
As the National Conference on Transition officially opens, the chairperson, on behalf of the President of the Transition and Head of State, wishes all participants success in their deliberations.
D'avoir un impact significatif sur notre société. Mesdames et messieurs les participants, distingués invités, tout en vous souhaitant plein succès dans vos travaux, je déclare au nom du président de la transition, chef de l'État, ouvertes les assises nationales sur la transition des 25 et 26 mai 2024. Que Dieu bénisse le Burkina Faso, la patrie ou la mort, nous verrons.